Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome back to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. And Jen, as we are dropping this episode, as the audience out there is listening to this episode, you're probably on Tron or on Everest. Where will you be on Thursday, by the way? Where's the park reservation tell you?
It actually depends on what time they're listening, honestly, because we both know that if it involves being up super early, that's not going to happen.
True. There's a good chance you may not even. You may not even have a park pass reservation. You may just go at 2:00 to wherever you want to. Wherever you.
I could. No, I do have reservations for each day. And we are going to be at Magic the first day, and because we would like to get on Tron on Thursday, because
we wait to hear your responses on that. I'd suggest just purchasing it and getting it out of the way and be done with it. I think.
Honestly, that's what we'll do. Because then we'll pick our time. That's the thing is I'll wake up. Yeah. I'll just pick our time when we want to go in. And virtual queue, fine. I'll probably end up doing virtual queue with my.
We did both actually. We actually did both. Because I want to ride Tron at night. I haven't done it yet at night, and I want to do that at night. And that's when next time we go, I'm going to pick my time so I can do it in the evening time, which would be awesome. So, Jen, I know you are Disneying by being at Disney World as we speak, or as you listen. But how did you Disney this past week?
This past week, I packed for Disney. I think that's kind of it might be a cop out, but that's literally what I did. I had to. So. Yeah.
How often? How far in advance do you start packing?
So it depends on what day I'm leaving. Typically on the weekend before, I will pull stuff out. I'll pull out my vacation stuff, my Disney stuff, get it in a pile. But as of this recording, I leave tomorrow evening.
Yes,
tomorrow afternoon. I do have one packing cube packed. I have a pile of other stuff, but I'll pack tonight, ish.
Yeah,
tomorrow morning.
Kind of like me, where I like to pack I'm leaving for the airport at 11:30, leaving my house at 11:30. So let me finish packing at 10:55.
No.
10, yeah,
that I do not.
Literally, our ride will be pulling up. The in-laws, my father-in-law who takes you to the airport, will be pulling up in the front, and I'm zipping the suitcase to take it downstairs. And
that gives me anxiety.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. So, so my little kid Campbell, who is a Disney nut, who loves Disney and loves Disney transportation. Stephanie messaged me not too long ago. There was a site that they're not sponsors of the show, but myself, I'm a fan, and I know Kyla is a fan. LostBros.com.
Oh yeah,
the Lost Bros Trading Company.com. They do a lot of Disney themed stuff. You won't find it licensed with Disney. It's not going to say Walt Disney World, Peter Pan on the front, but it'll have some sort of Disney fun stuff on it. I've gotten several shirts from there, and Steph's like, "Hey, I really like this shirt. Did you see the shirt? It's really cute." That is translation of, "Can you get this? Can you go ahead and order this?" It's never a, "Hey, can you buy this for me?" It's more of a, "Did you see this shirt? It's really cute." Of course, I responded, "Do you want me to get this?" Sure, that'd be great. So along the way, I did. And there was another shirt that was there. It was a monorail shirt that said, "Please stand clear of the closing doors." And fine print under it is the Spanish, which I can't say. And I went ahead and ordered it for my kid, for my young son, who loves the monorail. And it's sad because he's growing up, because I ordered a youth large, and I really should have ordered adult small, because it came in the mail yesterday, which is exciting. Yeah. It has that new shirt smell. So I threw it in the washer immediately, because today was his end of year class party. He wanted to wear it. He was like, monorail shirt. So I washed it, and had it hung up last night to dry. And of course, he's walking down the hall going, "Monorail shirt." I'm like, let it dry.
It is wet.
He wore it today. It fits him perfectly, which means in 6 months it won't fit him.
It won't fit him at all. So you have to buy a new one in 6 months.
He looks so cute in his monorail shirt. I'll have to send you a picture, but he's so proud of it. And apparently at school, he was telling the teachers, he was like, "Please stand clear of the closing doors." And of course, as I've told you, he can do the entire spiel, the entire thing. And he ends it with, for the comfort of others, no eating, drinking, or smoking. Thank you," which is hilarious. So it's the best thing ever. But there's a couple of pieces of Disney news that we're going to talk about. First being, of course, the Star Wars Starcruiser is closing. Kind of Disney popped that out of nowhere.
And that was after we recorded last week.
Yeah. It was like, of course, because Josh listens to the show and he was like, let's just wait till they're done with the show because we don't want to blow their minds yet. So drops that, and then but we'll get to that.
Josh, come on, buddy.
Piece is our 4-park ticket, which they also dropped on us last week. And to discuss that and all that good stuff, we're going to bring our good friend John Rogers, host the Travel Tips Tuesday podcast. John in the waiting room. Let's admit him into our little Zoom call that we're recording with. And of course, John is connecting the audio. There he goes. John, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
It's been a while, and so glad you're able to come on. So, first question, John, how'd you Disney this week?
Oh boy, outside of just trying to stay up to date with all that's going on, helping some people with some Disney things, and trying to dream and figure out when I can get back on property.
So that's the life every day for all of us.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, pretty much.
Of course, as this releases, and I don't think you heard at the beginning of the show, but as this releases, Jenn will be in the parks. Her first visit in like 3 or 4 months, which thoughts and prayers, Jenn. I don't know how you handled it.
Since February. It's because I moved. That is the only reason. It took me this long to get back. So since February.
Which is house all settled and everything. They're finally going back. Jenn finally gets to ride Tron, which who knows, depending on when you're listening to this, she may be on Tron right now. Who knows?
I had to cancel because I did have a reservation for the beginning of April for the Tron opening, and we were closing on the house. I was like, all right. We can't do this.
So as I mentioned before, of course, John is the host of Travel Tips Tuesday, which he does sometimes with his wife Tanya, which is every Tuesday night on you guys on YouTube, right? Yeah, YouTube and
Yeah, YouTube and Facebook primarily.
Yeah, I was gonna say Facebook is where I.
Well, I knew it was Facebook, and I was like, it's on YouTube, right? So I'm trying to rack my brain, but yeah, because you usually see it on Facebook, is wherever I tune in. John, of course, is with Travelmation Travel, which is its massive agency. Which Matt and Susie are with Travelmation Travel. I know a lot of people from Travelmation. I figure there's a good chance that if you know a travel agent who's not us, there's probably a 7% chance they're in Travelmation. But
probably yes. 7 sounds good. That's probably about right.
John, long time.
I like how we just pulled 7 out of like 7, sure.
7.27%. But
we'll
of
go
course,
with
the
that.
big news, the two spots of news that Disney dropped on us. 3.14, whatever.
1.5 something.
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 That's not. Yeah. So Disney dropped on us a 4-park magic ticket, which kicked in today on the 23rd of May, which is surprisingly a really good deal. Usually when they do ticket deals like this, I mean, you kind of want it in a package. We're just going to save you money. Not this one. This is $396 for adults or for kids. Essentially, it works like previous tickets like this have done. It's just I think the value is even better. Where it's basically you get one admission to each of the 4 theme parks. There's no park hopper. You cannot add a park hopper, nor can you roll it into a package. And Jenn, and maybe John, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Could you have added these kind of tickets previously to a package? Is this something brand new, or is this always like this? Okay.
No, it was always like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
No park hopper, like I said, you can't add it to a package. You have to buy the ticket and the resort separately. But as I found, and I think you guys can say the same, if we book your hotel, which is a lot of Disney savings for hotels right now, and then purchase your ticket, that price together is probably going to come out cheaper than if you did a package, which is pretty crazy right now.
With this ticket, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you are losing the park hopper aspect of it, but still, for the money you're going to save, I think you're okay with that.
But that's a great option for summer. Like if you need a last minute
really
summer
is.
vacation, and because there's still some great availability and great room deals too.
There is. I mean, and if you want to,
you don't have to book park passes either. I don't know if you said that or not.
We know you didn't say that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Which is pretty massive. People have asked also, could they still do Tron and Guardians Virtual Queue? You can, even though they're not park passes, because your ticket will be in your My Disney Experience account.
Right.
And you don't even have to stay on property to utilize this ticket. I don't know why you wouldn't stay on property. That's kind of insane. But hey, if you're one of those kind of people, who needs that kind of negativity in your life, right? But if you're at the La Quinta and Kissimmee, then sure, go ahead. But no, you can actually purchase a ticket for anybody. But it really does give you 4 admissions, and that is 1 park per day. So once you go to Magic Kingdom, you're done. You can't go back to Magic Kingdom, or you can't go back.
No, you can leave Magic Kingdom and go back to Magic Kingdom the same day. Like if you're going go swim at the pool
and I believe you have 7 days to use this ticket once you first use it. So if you go from say a Sunday to a Sunday, you get 7 days to use it somewhere in those Sundays. Kicks in June 1st. Through September 29th with a couple of blockout dates over July 4th and Labor Day, I believe. So I think that's the 4-park ticket. Anything else I missed on the 4-park ticket? I think that covers the bases on those.
That's basically it.
And then, of course, the news that the Starcruiser was going to be closing. Now, in the subsequent days, I have heard that they likely would have closed it in December. That was something that was kind of being bandied about, but they were talking about carrying it through the year and whatever. I believe that Disney's going to get something like a $300 million tax write-off. How that works, I have no idea. But yeah, the
write-off people do it.
Yeah, the write-off people do it. Exactly. But the cruiser will be closing, so the final voyages are going to be taken at the end of September, which those web voyages now sold out. Basically, you can't book anything new until May 26th, so a couple of days from now. May 26th, a couple of days from now. I believe Friday is going to be the time. In the meantime, in between time, right now, Disney's kind of contacting all those people that have those cruises after, and they're kind of working with them to do new cruises. So you can expect there might be some days this summer that will be sold out when you finally get the rebooking,
certainly.
Whatever. Discounts are all gone. No DVC discounts, no past discounts, none of that.
No,
all that's
yeah,
gone.
no
So,
Disney Visa.
Jen got to go on the Starcruiser. John and I unfortunately did not, which is sad. John, were you planning on going? Was there a work trip of the works for you anytime?
No, like we were, it was one of those things that we were hoping and kind of dreaming of, to be able to get to a point where our family would be able to do that, or maybe at least Tanya and I at some point. So yeah, we were pretty disappointed to hear the news, but it's what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I have some folks that I've been talking to about a trip, some people that actually had to cancel it. They had one booked in February, and they were hoping to redo it because she had the wife had cancer, and then the husband ended up being diagnosed with it also.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was just horrible. And they were like, we wanted to do this to celebrate, like, just beating it and bucket list item and all the things. And anyway, he has since gone into remission, and she's doing a lot better. So hopefully we'll be able to get them something.
Yeah, before the end of this.
But,
yeah, that would be.
So it just, I don't know, like you think about the Starcruiser as one of those things. It's like for Star Wars fans, and they are fans, but for them, like, they wanted to do it. There's a very personal reason behind it.
Sure.
Right.
So all things against the pricing and all the things aside.
I think there were a couple of levels of fans when it came to the Starcruiser. There were the diehards that would do it. They did it once. They want to do it again. They're ready to go because they know as many times as they can and maybe can afford it. You've got those people who want to experience it. Maybe they won't go again for the price, but they want to know they've done it. Then you have those people that just didn't care that much, I guess.
Sure.
And then of course, I guess the people that can't afford to go whenever they want to go. Let's just go and book. And I've got one of those clients that they've already been. They went in December and they heard that it was closing, so they contacted me. They're like, "Hey, me and my son, I want to take him for his birthday. We wanted to go next year again, but can we go?" So I'm going to try to get him something, this summer. Basically, he's the dream client. He's like, whenever, find me an open date.
Just hey, that's
let
good.
Me know. And which I've told him, I'm like, hey, when I call, I'm gonna have to book it like immediately because I don't know how long these things are gonna last.
Yep.
And he's like, do it. And I'm like, yes, I will do that for you, sir. I will take care of you, sir. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, it was something I was hoping to get to. It was, again, one of those pipe dreams, or a gather up 17 of my closest friends and all chip in together and, try to find a room that holds 20 people, which it doesn't. But, do whatever I could to try to cram people in to save as much money as possible. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to miss this one. But that's, of course, is going to leave a building there.
Yes,
that
it
Disney
is.
has empty.
Yes.
There are all sorts of speculation about what might happen with this Halcyon, the Starcruiser, where our good friends Derek and Derek Frank and the I Am Geek guys, they have a podcast called Living with a Land Speeder, and their latest episode is actually Star Warsifying the Halcyon, which I think is going to be their prediction of what they're going to do with the Halcyon, what they would do with it, and make it even more Star Warsy. So I thought it would be fun, and I haven't heard that episode yet, so nothing I come up with is going to be influenced by that. But I thought this would be kind of a fun idea to kind of get and pick your brains on, one, how would you keep it Star Wars? What would you do with it? And two, if you took Star Wars out of it completely, what would you do with it? Maybe a hotel, but maybe something else. I don't know, Jen. I'm assuming it's not going to be it's tough to be a bug hotel of some sort.
It's gonna be a hard pass.
It's gonna
be a hard
or
pass.
All-Star Space. I'm assuming All-Star Space is
All-Star
also
Space.
Oh my god!
Which, by the way,
would be
I would
epic.
stay in a heartbeat.
That,
I would
no.
stay there in a heartbeat. That'd be
You
awesome.
would, and guess what? I wouldn't. So
the outer limits food court would be amazing, and so that would be.
Stop it! Oh, somebody help me! Somebody send help.
So let's talk Star Wars first with the parameters of you got to leave the building like it is, and you can change it up a little bit, do what you need to, but I mean you can't raise the building and build a brand new.
Right.
Let's build Grand Floridian Part two right there.
Listen,
So,
we could
Jen,
have the Grand Floridian Halcyon. I'm just saying that could be a thing.
the Grand House sitting
The
in
ground
how
house. Yes.
Grand
Yes.
Floreal. I don't know how to work that out. Jen, let's take it first. The Star Wars part of it.
Okay.
How would you keep it Star Wars? What would you do with it? What would you do
Well,
knowing this model doesn't work?
well, as one who has been on the Starcruiser, I can literally picture the inside of the staterooms. It already is there in terms of the theming. I mean, this is the Cantina Lounge. Okay, so perfectly Star Wars. Honestly, I would bring in some roaming characters, much like Galaxy's Edge, but maybe the classic, right? The classic characters like Chewie, or also you could put Mando in there just because, you know, whatever, he's popular right now. But allow it to switch up, maybe not stick strictly with, it has to be post episode 9 situation. But make it more of just a normal hotel. Okay, like it is the Star Wars themed hotel. It's not necessarily tied in. Now, maybe we could continue if we want to keep the food in the food court the same situation because it is a space theme. I mean, we've had those space themes before. I know that might be kind of basic, but I think it could really work because it's the classic Star Wars that people love. I think it could work. You already have that feeling and that look because, listen, when you get in the elevator to go to your room, you go down. So you're underground. Like there's no way you are not underground in this thing. So it's not like you could bust those out and make them windows. Okay. So in my head, you have to keep this space themed. And I think that would be really cool. You are just floating out and then maybe you have your transport to take you to the parks, you know, have to do that. But,
so would you keep it with the limited, like you can only book 2 nights in a row, or would it be kind of a check in, check out whenever you want to, according to availability?
It would be a check in, check out. Yes, it would have to operate like a normal hotel.
Makes sense. So basically, keep it kind of the same. Just take out the storytelling elements in terms of the whole like actors and things
right.
Like that.
Instead of the act, you know, it's maybe within the room they leave some of the interactive elements that are in the room that are not. Like it's not necessary to have a cast member. I mean, because there is in the room, like you can speak to the robot. Okay, who's flying the ship? Like you have your personal assistant that could stay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So. That's what I think. Just make it a Star Wars hotel.
Don, what would you do to the hotel? Keeping it Star Wars, how would you change it? What would you do?
So I've been racking my brain over the past 3 hours trying to figure out what would I do, and I was like, is there a problem out there maybe that we could solve for the guests that come to Disney's Hollywood Studios? Well, that got me thinking about my time as a cast member there, and also thinking about my wife. And she used to be a cast member at the studios as well. And one of her jobs was helping staff way back when the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground, may it rest in peace.
Yep.
And one of the things, yes, absolutely. So one of the things that guests used to use that playground for was kind of a de facto kids drop-off point. Parents would mysteriously sometimes just disappear, and
yeah, that's true.
Sometimes there would be lots of lost parents out there, right? There are no lost kids, there are lost parents at Disney. So that got me thinking. Okay, so what can we do? What can we use this space for? All right, the Halcyon is there's no windows, right? It's a fully enclosed space. Security is very tight, so why not just go ahead and have a drop-off point? Have a glorified Star Wars daycare center for parents where they can drop off their kids in Batu and just send them over there. Let their families have, just some peace. You want to talk about adults going to Disney. Let them go and let them be at Disney and just shove the kids over, have a Star Wars daycare center. You could call it a prison if you want, but that's, that word is kind of touchy right now, thanks to Governor DeSantis. But anyway, no, that's kind of like a funny take on it, I guess. But I like Jen's idea as far as a Star Wars hotel. I think that makes the most logical sense. If that is to happen, we don't necessarily have to build a Grand Floridian in space kind of thing, but there would have to be some things I think that were added to it to make that possible, like a pool, maybe even a spa experience, possibly another restaurant. So maybe you're making it more of an exclusive I don't know, DVC type property. You could turn it into something like that potentially.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Tearing down some of the walls between some of the small rooms, because I was listening to Lynn Testa and Jim Hill's podcast, the Disney Dish, and they were going through this like in detail. And one of the things that they noted was the size of the rooms a little bit smaller than some. So there would have to be some things done with that. But I think it definitely could be turned into that. I think it makes the most sense. Other ideas I've thought about are maybe like a Star Wars day camp kind of experience where think after hours but during the day. So maybe the space is not used overnight, but maybe there's a way to convert it into something you could do to send people off into space to do something really cool and interactive as far as a daytime, potentially nighttime experience too, but maybe not necessarily limit it to that.
So
That's
I agree with all that, and I think the daycare is a great idea. That's a big daycare, which I think is awesome.
I'm just thinking, but we've got 4 kids. Okay, like
Right.
it's something. It's practical, right? It's
right.
practical.
Makes sense. So I was thinking like having that hotel, but obviously if you're going to have a hotel and you're going to change it up to where it's no longer a cruise or like a voyage,
Right.
It's going to have to be on a planet. Basically, you can't be in space. So you're going to have to do something with the front, because the front looks very plain. It says, Galactic Starcruiser, because the concept is you're in a port, you're going flipping off.
Right.
You're going to have to change that story up
Spaceport.
altogether. So my thought would be to call the hotel indoor, based on the forest indoor.
Okay.
And you can kind of woods it up a little bit to make sure it's kind of lush, whatever. So as you're entering the gates, you are transformed like you would be if you're going from one land to the next in the Magic Kingdom. Entering the gates of Endor, you're transformed onto that planet. Like you're only going onto. Now the buses might be something different. I mean, you have regular buses on Endor, so that's kind of weird. But you're going onto Endor. Now with the rooms being downstairs and some underground or whatever, you'd have to have some visuals of like forest life on the windows. You're looking out into the forest, like a forest view. Disney could, charge you for that because they're just putting a forest on your screen there.
Oh my gosh.
Versus a parking lot. But you could see like spaceships kind of in the distance flying off or whatever. And I think you could keep a lot of the same elements in there, like Jen said, the restaurant, things like that. I also think too that every season you change up the elements in terms of one season is Mandalorian. And you have the Mandalorian characters in there. Maybe do just a few little tweaks to kind of make it Mandalore kind of thing. The next season is the original trilogy, and that's when you would see your Yoda elements, your Han Solo, your Millennium Falcon, your Chewie. Maybe do the sequels, the First Order or whatever.
Listen, Chewie can be in all of them. Okay,
Chewie can be in all of them. C-3PO and R2-D2 can be in all of them. And I like that idea of having the characters kind of roam through and take pictures and stuff. It's a small space, so you can't do a ton of characters or whatever, but every season or so change up the storytelling of the characters.
Okay.
So if you're like, I could care less about Kylo Ren, but I am all in on Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul. And so I'm definitely going, hey, you heard this fall? It's the prequel trilogy, season. So we're going in, that's Qui-Gon, and there's little Anakin, the little kid, and there's there's Padme as the teenager or whatever. And every season is kind of change up. And as Star Wars continues to progress with their storytelling and stuff, you can bring in new elements and new characters and things like that. And just, you could even, make it kind of a Wilderness Lodge kind of chart pricing in terms of pricing for a deluxe. And you would just end up catching buses and stuff to the parks. I don't think you can continue to do the whole transport, that kind of thing. It'd just be too much. But I mean, I think changing it up and giving something for everybody, no matter the era of Star Wars you're into, have something for everybody. I think that works. I really do. I think that was the problem Star Wars had, or Disney had, was they backed up the Halcyon and even some elements of Galaxy's Edge into an era of Star Wars that most people don't care about. A lot of people didn't like Rise of Skywalker. And so they're trying to force storytelling on people that people are like, I don't care about this. I want to see the original stuff. So, that's
I mean, Darth Vader is still a huge pull. I mean, like,
yeah,
absolutely.
He is the best villain in Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Like, sorry, he's so much better
and
than
and over the Halloween you could have it's Star Wars Villains Week. For 2 weeks, or maybe the month of October, if you're staying at the Halcyon or on Endor, Halcyon on Endor, Halcyon Hotel on Endor, Darth Maul will be there, and maybe Grievous will be there, and maybe Darth Vader will be there, and the villains will be there for that.
But you could even like tie that into the Batu backstory, where this is a, well, I guess it wouldn't be Batu. What planet is Rey from?
Jakku.
Jakku.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like
Yes.
it's a busted ship. Like it doesn't move anymore. And so
Right.
this is, they've turned it into
Mhm.
whatever, a hotel. They're trying to
Right.
Joja,
Right.
Jakku. I don't know. Just no Jar Jar.
Right.
No Jar Jar. Okay. Like, I know he's
Well,
different.
and you could do that with they've taken an abandoned spaceship and turned it into a hotel here on Endor.
Oh yeah, you could totally do that on any
and so you
planet,
could
really.
just changing the characters, just change the timeline, and it wouldn't be that hard to do. Cast members wouldn't have to learn like all these backstories of everything. It would just kind of transition into, and so
they're just So I think that's doable.
I think if you were to change it into an indoor theme thing, there's one thing that you would have to do. All of guest relations is staffed by Ewoks. Just saying.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
that would be perfect.
In general, I need more Ewoks. So
Everybody does.
Like, who doesn't need an Ewok? Like, it's a cuddly.
I mean, can you imagine the
warrior,
mob if Wicket the Ewok comes walking through to get pictures and stuff with
Oh my
everybody?
gosh.
Just kind of,
I've never gotten Wicket. I've never gotten
in the
a picture of
background.
Wicket.
That'd be great.
That would be
Oh,
like
fantastic.
sweet.
It's
awesome.
it.
And
that's
you could even like occasionally, seasonally, maybe
Mhm.
do like a voyage situation. You know how they used to do Star
Mhm.
Wars weekends? You could do like
Yep.
a limited time thing, which would like really create demand.
Disney could make money off of this like crazy.
Totally
like I
could.
still think they should do After Hours in Batuu with the original trilogy characters or the sequel
that would
trilogy
be
or the
huge.
prequel trilogy or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Or it's and
Mhm.
have those exclusive
Mhm.
characters only that, and they could charge $150 and people would be like, take
People
my
would
money.
take my money
Because
Mhm.
exactly. I get a picture of Han Solo in front of the Millennium Falcon. Yes, please. I mean, I think that Jen, call Josh, get on that. So John, I don't need all the credit. We can all three share in the credit with this.
Sure,
That'd be
no
fine.
problem.
No
problem.
exactly. So let's talk about what happens if Disney wants to get away from the Star Wars. You've got plenty of Star Wars and stuff, plenty of Star Wars in the parks.
Yeah.
What if we're doing something different than Star Wars? John, what are you thinking for this hotel area building that has nothing to do with Star Wars? What could you put in place there?
I feel like one of the more almost natural things to do is to tap into Marvel somehow.
I was thinking that.
Okay.
And not, maybe not do a full on like experiential thing, because I think that's part of why it hasn't had the draw just due to pricing and things like that.
Right.
The experience has been incredible. But if you're going to include more demographics, that's something that you have to, I think, be conscious about along the way. And I think Marvel is, probably one of the next big IPs that Disney has that they could easily convert something into it. Well, I don't know what kind of characters you would put based on what sort of phase, in MCU that we're in right now, that kind of thing. But I feel like similar to Star Wars in some ways, just sort of I guess what we would call the modern classics of, in and around the Avengers, the Guardians, things like that. I think that would be, more natural. Give people more of an opportunity to interact with those storylines.
Yeah.
So, Jen, your thoughts?
All right. The outside, we might have to hide the shape a little bit, but I think we could make it work.
Right.
Go with me here. Some sort of like a Soarin' theme. Like, we're flying around the world. So outside of your window, you might see Africa. You might see Asia. You could, no bendy Eiffel Tower. So like, we're not going to have any bendy Eiffel Towers. It's going to be
or every Eiffel Tower is straight up and you can see it perfectly.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, so, but we could pipe the smells in too. I mean, we would have to retheme the rooms, but I feel like that's allowed.
Right.
I feel like we're allowed to retheme rooms, right? Like we're
yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I feel like we could do this. Maybe to make it a little more futuristic, it has to be like, 3000, this is in the year 3020 and we're spaceshipping around the world,
right.
Or, well, this just came to me.
Brilliance. Yes.
What about like a Wall-E theme? Like we could do like Wall-E. So, I mean, we could flesh that out. That could actually work because, they were on a spaceship. They were just cruising around but maybe it's like, oh, now we're coming back to Earth somehow. So I think there's potential there.
I like that. Okay, so I'll go backwards here. First, I like that. I like the Soarin' Hotel idea because you could actually, or you could do different sections of the hotel for different areas of the world.
Absolutely.
And so if you're staying in Africa, the Africa section, your room has more of an African feel to it. And out the window, you see the elephants in the distance.
The elephants and all of that.
Or you see the desert, or you see the jungles, or you see whatever. And make it where whatever is going on weather-wise in that part of the world is happening on your screen. So if it's raining at the Kalahari Desert, overlooking the pyramids or whatever.
I mean, raining at the desert, I feel like that might be.
It rains in the desert, by the way.
I know it does, but not that.
By the way, I said Kalahari and pyramids. I don't think those are close together. So please don't at me. Together? I just said that. But let's just say the pyramids. It's raining at the pyramids of Giza, and you're looking whatever, and it's raining on your screen. Look on your phone, you're like, oh, it is raining there. So I mean, like
that could be
I
cool.
feel like it matches that. I think that works perfectly.
That could be cool.
And also you'd have an American section where you have the California, so people could see some of the images from Soarin' over California.
And there would be the orange smell piped in.
Yes.
I mean, just very clear about that.
Although not the whole time. Maybe like
occasionally,
hit a button and you kind of occasionally comes in. You don't want you don't wake up and be like, my vitamin C intake has been filled for the next year.
No, because then you'd go nose blind to it. But like
the
occasional like oh, orange. Yes.
And as far as the Marvel goes, what if the hotel was a retired helicarrier theme?
I like that.
And it's a helicarrier that was featured in Star Wars or Captain America Winter Soldier. It's survived, and now they turned it into like a tourist attraction kind of thing. And that way you wouldn't have to change the storytelling at all. It's the helicarrier, and you'd have the different characters come through, and your lobby is kind of your Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. area where you get the big screens up, and randomly Nick Fury will come on, and like he's talking to Agent, to Maria Hill or whatever. You'll just see him come on and be like, Agent Hill, I need you to report to whatever. Like have nothing to do with you. You just happen to see him on screen, and have a few people just kind of working at desks with all kinds of random things going on or whatever. And then you could have those random characters just kind of walk through.
Yeah.
Hey, I believe that Thor is going to be visiting today. He walks through and he's like, hello, people, and whatever. And
that could be cool.
Great. So I was thinking, and this is very basic, but I was also thinking of like a villains themed area, like a villains themed hotel.
Okay.
Like that.
Having those different areas of the ship. There's your Cruella, and there is your Ursula, and there's your Gaston, and there's your whoever, your Hades or whatever. And each of those, 2 or 3 of those rooms are themed to those particular rooms. Like the Jack Skellington room would be really popular, and have the touches of that villain in those rooms all the way through, like the princess rooms at Port Orleans, where you have Tiana as the main princess, but you have touches of other princesses all the way through it.
Right.
Something like that. Kind of a dark and brooding looking hotel. I mean, it would be dark in there, it would be scary in there, but it would have a villainy theme to it, where we don't want the good guys in here, we want the villains in here, and the villains have more fun. And the Sanderson sisters could make appearances and have different villains come and make appearances, and that would definitely go with the villains land they're going to build based on what Heather and I talked about several months ago, because we know that's going to happen, right? We know that Josh is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, for John and for anybody who didn't hear that episode, we basically built a villains park with rides and everything, and it was perfect, and it could work perfectly where we said it was going to work, and so that's just what we need. So yeah, I'm just saying that can work. That can work. So, so any other thoughts on our hotel from either one of you? Any other touches? Anything else we want to turn it into?
I mean, I think those are all great ideas. I think they could all really work.
Very true.
I think. But one other thought. I don't think if we're going to keep it Star Wars themed, maybe you could turn it into like a Star Wars themed meeting space. There's like conventions and stuff, right? Not just necessarily like nerd cons, right? But like corporate event spaces. Like there are companies that I could think that would rent the space out for things.
That would be really, really cool.
Be really great.
I think it would be, I don't know how hard it would be. I know it would be hard. I don't know how expensive this would be expensive to build some sort of like train or shuttle from the Halcyon to Hollywood Studios. Even if it is just like a monorail track or a train shuttle or whatever, something. I know you can't, they're not going to be able to keep doing. You're not gonna be able to keep doing the big white truck with people inside. You can't really do that anymore.
Right.
But building like a small monorail, or I don't know if you could do a Skyliner of some sort. But make it where you're accessible, and make that part of the perks of this hotel. You're accessible to Hollywood Studios, and it takes you to the front gate. You don't have to build a back gate or anything. Just it takes you to the front gate. And I think that would also be a selling point for this hotel. And I do like the idea though of All-Star Space. Having it as an all-star hotel, a
No.
value hotel,
No.
and
Denied.
the rooms Murphy
No.
beds and everything when the Murphy comes down, the Outer Limits food court, and
No.
the Jakku sandbox for the kids, and the Hoth pool where the
Somebody
water's
help
nice
me.
and chilly. This
Somebody
is good.
help me.
This is good ideas.
I
John would stay with me at the All-Star Space.
He's
100%.
welcome to. He's
I'd
welcome.
even
be
sleep
like-
on the floor if I had to. It'd be
Oh
all
my
right.
gosh, no.
All-Star Space would fill up so fast. That would be amazing.
I don't
Yeah,
know where that is.
Seriously, it'd be
I don't know where
epic.
that is.
Well, we're going to build a hotel called the All-Stars, Jen. It's a value resort.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I'm so
exactly.
confused.
I know.
I
There's
don't
only
know
so
what
much
it is.
bougie we can do. So,
works.
good ideas for everybody. I love these ideas. This is great. John, where can we find you on the line? Where can we find you in your show?
On the interwebs. Gosh, well, there's a number of different ways. I have a Travel Tips Tuesday link tree.
Mhm.
If you just
Yep.
go to linktree.com / Travel Tips Tuesday or travelmationjohn.com, you can find those things, both those things there.
I love it.
So
I
all
love
the
it.
all the social things and whatnot.
And when are you getting to the parks, John? When is your next trip to the parks?
Man, I don't have one. There's an opportunity in mid-July, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it down. I have some friends that are going to be there, but I don't know. I've got my annual pass. I have not used it since January, so
Ooh.
I'm just
Oof.
it kind of hurts right now, but it's what it is. So I'm hoping to get down there maybe at least for a festival or something.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice. Jen, where can we find you? Because people need to follow along for all your adventures.
Yes.
This is your birthday trip, correct?
It is.
Because
Yay.
tomorrow is your birthday, or
Tomorrow is my
as you're listening,
birthday.
yesterday is your birthday. Welcome to 37, 36.
Oh, I'll
whatever.
take it.
Welcome.
I'll take it.
Yesterday was my birthday.
Oh, happy
Yep.
birthday.
Yes, actually, I
This
do
is
that
true.
too. So,
You gave me a happy birthday
John.
message. I'm
I
very
did.
thankful for it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always looking ahead. So Jen's birthday is tomorrow,
Oh.
and or
It is.
yesterday. So John's just 3
Indeed.
days ago when you're listening. Whatever. Happy birthday, John. Jen, where can we find you and follow along on all your birthday adventures?
I will be at Upon a Star Jen everywhere and at Jen_Novotny as my personal Instagram.
So do you have a birthday meal set up like an Earl of Sandwich or something, or somewhere for, like
I have a
something very
few.
fancy, very exquisite, and-
Oh, I'm gonna do Topolino's on I think that's
There
on
we go.
Thursday. I love
Uh-huh.
Topolino's.
Topolino's is good.
We're doing Narcoossee's with the brand new menu. So
Is this the first time for the new menu for you?
first time for the new
or-
menu for me. Yes,
Okay,
this will be the first
okay.
time since it's reopened. And then Citrico's we are doing
Nice.
on Sunday. So we have 3 different like
Stuff.
fancy bougie
Mhm.
meals scheduled.
So really, you're just going to sleep in, walk to dinner, go back to the room, sleep in the next day, then walk to dinner again, right down the same place, just different building.
I mean,
over.
we're gonna
Yeah.
go to the park some too, and hit the pool. So
Well, having the annual pass is going to be a game changer. I'm so excited. Like sometimes
Yeah.
I look at my annual pass magnets on the door, and I'm like, I'm an annual pass holder now. This is amazing. I'm just so happy, so happy. I'm going back. I think maybe in September and possibly in early November, but definitely in December.
Yeah.
I don't even know anymore. I have no idea. I don't know for sure. I don't know anything. Find me on Facebook at Magic on $1 and Disney on $1. Find me on Instagram at the Magic on $1, and of course, find our show, the MSE podcast, on all the usual type places, and of course, Upon a Star Travel and all those usual type places as well. John, this has been fun. Good conversation. Glad you could come on with us last minute.
Yeah, thanks for hollering. Anytime.
And for John, for Jen, I am Dave, and hey, don't forget to thank your Phoenicians and use the Force, Luke.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.